my beloved child. For so long your soul has yearned to hear what is true, something beyond empty promises and lifeless religious theories. You have longed for a real encounter with me, not through ritual but through breath, through gaze, through every heartbeat. You have grown weary of striving to do what is right without ever finding peace. You have tried to please everyone yet still felt empty inside. Now I come to tell you this: you were never created to live in that emptiness. You were designed to hear my voice, to walk with me, to feel my love flowing through every vein within you. Do not take this moment lightly. Every time I draw near, everything within you begins to move. You will see the old parts of yourself start to dissolve and the veils that have covered your soul begin to fall away. You may feel unsettled, but that is not a sign of loss. It is the evidence of transformation. Just as a seed must break open before it can sprout, your soul is opening to receive a new light. I am awakening what you thought was dead. Dreams, faith, and divine callings that were buried are now rising again. My beloved, understand this. I am not speaking today merely to comfort you, but to prepare you for a new journey. This path is not for the hesitant, but for hearts willing to listen and walk forward even when they cannot see clearly. I do not promise that you will avoid every storm, but I do promise that I will be in the boat with you. When you begin to believe that everything happens with purpose, fear will lose its grip on you. For even your tears are counted by me, and not one of your pains is wasted. And my child, remember this. This is not just a message, it is a summons, a divine awakening meant for you alone. I am calling you back to the very essence I placed within you from the beginning of time. You are not a small being drifting aimlessly through life. You are a chosen soul, a vital part of heaven's grand design. Every experience in your life, both good and painful, has been used by me to prepare you for this very hour. And now, as you read these words, I want you to know, I am near. Doubt no longer. Do not question why your heart feels so deeply stirred. It is because I am calling your name. This is the sacred appointment I ordained long ago. Open your heart, listen, and allow my words to soak into the deepest place within you. A new chapter is unfolding, and it begins the moment you believe this is not coincidence, but the voice of the one who loves you beyond measure. You have felt it, haven't you, that quiet longing for something deeper calling your name? There have been nights when you could not sleep, not from fear, but because your soul was restless. You sensed that something was about to shift, as if an invisible door was slowly opening and a soft light was seeping through the crack. You could not put it into words, but deep down you knew I was drawing near. I have seen every tear that has fallen from your eyes, every whispered prayer in the stillness of the night, every weary breath, as you tried to make sense of the weight you carry. And now, my child, I want you to know every longing, every stirring, every unanswered question has led you to this moment. This is the hour of awakening, the invitation for you to rise and remember to whom you belong. You once thought I was silent, but I have been speaking all along. You simply were not still enough to hear. Amid the noise of the world and your worries and busyness, you missed the gentle whispers of my heart. I do not shout to capture your attention. I touch your heart with tenderness that makes your soul tremble. I send you signs, a divine encounter, a verse that suddenly speaks at the right moment, or a strange breeze that makes you pause and wonder, is God calling me? Yes, my child, it is I. And I am calling you home, not to condemn, but to heal. And now the moment has come, the very instant, when the veil is lifted and truth begins to emerge from the shadows. You once believed you understood everything, that life around you was merely a sequence of ordinary events unfolding one after another. But no, my child, there are things that have been hidden beneath layers of silence, waiting for the appointed time to be revealed. Now that truth draws near, gentle as a whisper, yet bearing a weight that shakes your very soul. It does not come to harm you, but to set you free. It comes so that you may know light has never feared darkness. Only humanity fears facing the truth, afraid that such light will change everything. There is someone in your story who has held a secret for a long time. They smiled at you with sorrowful eyes, spoke kind words, while their heart trembled within. When the door closed, they wept, not out of malice, but because they had lived too long in the tension between love and fear. They knew the truth, but never found the courage to speak it. They knew that once it was brought to light, nothing would ever be the same again. and so they chose silence, a silence that served both as a shield and a prison. Yet, my child, nothing can remain hidden beneath heaven's light forever. For the Lord has spoken, there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, and nothing hidden that will not be made known. I know your heart trembles. It feels as though someone has drawn back the curtain of your soul, exposing what you were not ready to confront. But do not be afraid. Every truth revealed is not meant to destroy, but to heal. Just as a wound must be opened before it can be cleansed, so must your soul be touched by truth in order to be set free. Many fear truth because they think it brings pain, but, my child, the pain of truth lasts only for a moment, while the healing it brings endures forever. Look deeper, my beloved. That person is not merely confessing what they hid, they are surrendering a part of their soul in trembling. They cannot meet your eyes, for within them lies too much they once tried to escape. They know that once the words are spoken, there will be no return to what once was. Yet in that fragile moment, light has touched them. Do not see only the wound. See also my mercy at work within this moment. When truth is revealed, it does not only expose sin, it opens the door to grace. My child, do not let anger overshadow compassion. Do not allow disappointment to blind you to the fact that I am writing a new chapter for you both. What is revealed today is not meant to end a relationship, but to rebirth it upon the foundation of truth. You may feel betrayed, but I ask you to look deeper. This is the hour of cleansing, the refining of what has long been hidden. You have lost nothing. Rather, you are being given back what is real, even if it is not yet whole. I know your heart cries out, why must it be this way? Why can't truth arrive more gently? But my child, there is no dawn without the night. There is no resurrection without the cross. Truth is never born in comfort. It is birthed through the labor of honesty and tears. And right now, as your tears fall, I am doing what you cannot yet see. I am delivering you from all that has bound your soul for too long. Let me remind you of this: forgiveness is not forgetting, but releasing. It is letting go of the right to avenge, letting go of the need to be justified, and placing that power into my hands, the hands of a just and loving judge. When you forgive, you are not agreeing with the wrong. You are choosing not to let it imprison you any longer. In that very act, you are set free, and that freedom is the gift I give to those who dare to live in truth. My beloved child, believe that nothing escapes my control. Every tear you shed is counted by me. Every unanswered question is held in my care. You may not understand everything today, but in time you will see what seemed like betrayal will become the doorway to rebirth. What you thought was the end will unfold as the beginning of a new journey where truth and love walk hand in hand, and my light shines not only upon the wound, but also upon the one who caused it. My beloved child, I am now unveiling what your eyes have never seen, the invisible force that has quietly hindered the flow of blessings heaven intended for you. For so long you have felt as though something was holding you back. You tried your best, yet saw no breakthrough. You prayed earnestly, yet it felt as though an unseen wall stood before you. You could not explain why your joy faded so quickly, like a candle extinguished before it had the chance to burn fully. You thought the problem lay in your circumstances, in others, or even in yourself. But no, my child, hear me now. The root goes deeper into the spiritual realm your human eyes cannot perceive. A distorted current, a word once spoken with spiritual weight, was released over you, and it became a binding cord that has restrained your freedom despite all your efforts. But now, I have come to reverse it all. Every word once empowered to hinder you is being nullified by the word of the Most High. No force can stand when my light shines forth. Every curse, every accusation, every shadowed judgment spoken in darkness, I am breaking them now. Every unjust verdict, every toxic thought that has clung to your soul, I am erasing them. This is not merely a moment of change, it is a divine liberation. Can you feel it, my child? Something is stirring in the atmosphere around you, not by chance, but through the mighty presence of heaven itself. Archangel Michael is at work in the unseen realm, cutting through the invisible chains that have bound you in fear, insecurity, and lies you unknowingly believed for years. This is your sacred hour, the moment when everything in the spiritual world is being rearranged. The hour when truth is revealed and darkness must retreat. You have circled the mountain of fear for far too long. It is time for me to lead you upward, not to flee, but to conquer. You will no longer wander in confusion or repeat cycles of weariness. Understand this. My child, what you are experiencing is not coincidence. It is a sign that I am shifting your orbit. Every delay, every dead end, every closed door was never rejection. It was a pause for me to work in the places you could not see. And now, as the light of truth breaks through, my plans are coming into motion. I have heard the cry of your soul. I have seen you wonder why freedom still felt distant, even after believing, praying, and serving faithfully. The answer lies here in old energy, a residue from the past. A word of accusation once released in the spirit has lingered over you. But today I declare enough. Everything that once held you bound now loses its power. I am drawing a divine line between you and the words of old. You are no longer defined by your past, your mistakes, or the opinions of others. You are defined by me, the one who calls you by name and writes your destiny in light. And my child, do not underestimate what is taking place. This is not merely a redirection. It is a spiritual reconstruction. When I set you free, I do not simply remove the chains, I clothe you in garments of glory. Archangel Michael does not only guard you, he stands beside you in battle. With every step you take, the dust of old failures will be swept away. Every word you speak when spoken in faith will carry the creative power of heaven itself. My beloved child, do not fear the noise that surrounds you. The chaos you see is not a sign that you have lost your way, but a sign that heaven is moving. Whenever a door opens in the spiritual realm, the enemy often tries to confuse you with noise, negative emotions, or sudden circumstances that cause you to doubt yourself. Yet be still within and know that I am here. It is I who have sent angels to stir the atmosphere around you, not to frighten you, but to awaken you. For the time has come for you not only to hear, but to receive, not only to believe, but to act. This is the appointed hour. Not tomorrow, not when you feel more ready, but right now. Everything you have walked through has prepared you for this very moment. My child, I have chosen you for a mission greater than you can imagine. And before I lead you into the next season of blessing, I must break every invisible chain that has bound your soul. When you are free within, everything around you will begin to transform. Let your spirit rest in my presence, for only in stillness will you discern the whisper of angelic winds passing by. Every movement, every gentle stirring in your heart is a signal from heaven. Awake, my child, for I am very near. This is the hour when your destiny is being restored, when delayed blessings will pour out, when all that was stolen shall be returned in abundance. And when it happens, you will understand every cycle, every tear, every long silence has led you here. This is a sacred hour where heaven meets earth, where you and I meet again, not in sorrow, but in triumph. For I, your Lord, am making all things new. And the blessing I pour out this time will not fade, will not be hindered, and will not be stolen, for it is sealed with my name. Now your soul stands at the threshold of a divine breakthrough. This is not a small shift, but a profound transformation reaching to the very roots of your spirit. I have prepared this for a long time, through the nights you cried in silence, through the seasons when you thought you were lost, through the moments when you were pressed to let go and learn to trust. Yet now the key to unlock that door lies not in anyone else's hands, but in your own heart. Your soul awaits one response, a single word: yes. Simple, yet powerful. For when you agree, all of heaven moves. When you say yes, my plans ignite. When you surrender, the flow of blessing will cascade like a mighty waterfall, unstoppable and full of life. Do not underestimate the power of spiritual agreement, my child. Many wait for miracles from the outside, while I still wait for them to open the door from within. No gate of heaven can swing open if your heart remains closed. Grace is ready. Angels are in position. Blessings have been signed and sealed, but I need one thing: your consent. For I will never force, I only invite. And only when you release your grasp on the old can I place the new into your hands. There is a pattern, a cycle, a hidden thread that has woven through your lineage for generations, like an old song repeating itself, making souls believe it is destiny. It may appear as nameless fear, inadequacy, lack, or a recurring pattern of loss, pain, and doubt. From one generation to the next, it has quietly operated like an underground current, seeping into thoughts and choices, keeping hearts bound without knowing why. But today I tell you, that cycle ends now. I have chosen you to break that flow. You are the one appointed to stop what is repeated and to become the first in your bloodline to walk in true freedom. Do not think you are insignificant. You are the beginning of a new generation. In your very blood I am rewriting the story, and where chains once were, I will raise an altar of deliverance. Where there were tears, I will cause flowers of joy to bloom. But, my child, for this to happen, you must say yes. You must nod to my plan even when you do not yet understand it. You must allow me to touch the deepest parts of your heart, the places of memory, of wounds, of fears you have long avoided. For I cannot heal what you still hide. When you open your heart, I will touch the places that once brought pain and turn them into places of testimony and wonder. When you say, "Yes, Lord, I agree," every curse once sown in your past will be reversed. Every voice that once declared failure will be silenced before my name. My child, can you feel it? The atmosphere around you is shifting. Doors that were once shut are beginning to open. Delays are being dismantled. Heaven is moving to prepare the turning point of your destiny. Generations before you have fought, wept, and prayed, and now you are the one who will reap the fruit. They sowed with tears, but you shall harvest with joy. Yet to receive this promise, you must rise and decide that you will no longer let old cycles rule your bloodline. I see within you a hidden strength that even you have not believed in. You have lived too long in the pattern of survival, enduring, striving, holding on, but now I am calling you out of that narrow path to live in freedom and abundance. Do not let the past of your parents, grandparents, or ancestors define your future. I am placing in your hand the hammer of deliverance, and with every prayer you lift, you are breaking the chains that once bound your lineage. This is the hour for you to lift your head high, no longer bowed under fear or guilt. You no longer bear the cost of your forefathers' mistakes, for the blood of the Lamb has washed away it all. You are no longer bound by words of negativity, for my word, the decree of the Eternal One, has declared you free. I have chosen you to stand in the gap, to intercede for your family line, to open a new path for generations to come. Beloved child, do not doubt this moment. This is the appointed time. When you say yes, everything in heaven and on earth aligns with my purpose. The gates of blessing no longer remain closed, but swing wide open with the rejoicing of angels. The darkness that once hovered over your family line is now dissolving, and my light is flooding in. A new chapter begins not only for you, but for all who share your blood, your spirit, and your prayers. Everything that once took place in the shadows is being overturned. Every false word, every unjust judgment, every act of contempt you have endured, I am reversing them in the spiritual realm. What was distorted is being set right. What was hidden is being revealed. What seemed lost forever is being restored in the radiant light of truth. No power of darkness can hold you anymore, for my hand is moving and a season of transformation is opening before you. My child, your name once spoken in mockery and bitterness and disdain is about to be lifted by me. In the very place where you were forgotten, I will set you in honor. In the places where others turned their backs, I will cause them to witness your restoration in the glory of heaven. Not so that you may boast, but so that my name may be exalted. For when I act, none can deny it. When I open the way, no force can close it. Those who once mocked you will fall silent when they behold the favor I have placed upon your life, and they will know that I, your Lord, am the one who has defended you, heard your cry, and turned what was meant for harm into good. But my child, remember this, it can only come to pass if you do not close your heart. The reversal I am preparing is not merely an external change, it begins within. You must keep your heart tender and humble. Do not let pain turn you bitter. Do not let old wounds make you build walls against new grace. When you close your heart, you block the very flow of blessings I am sending your way. Therefore, open your spirit wide, so that this message will not only pass through your ears, but reach the deepest parts of your soul, where I am planting the seed of restoration. Do you remember when Joseph was sold into slavery? People despised him, imprisoned him, and forgot him. Yet in that lowliest place I was preparing him for the throne. I used what seemed like failure to build the road to glory. And now I am doing the same in your life. I am transforming the dark memories into the foundation of victory. I am turning the very places where you were wounded into the ground where my glory will be revealed. The doors that once shut before you, I myself will open in ways no one could imagine. And when it happens, all will say, "The Lord has done this." My child, prepare your heart for what no eye has seen. I will cause your voice to echo in places where no one once cared to listen. I will make you stand firm where others once hoped you would fall. I will show you that no rejection can erase the calling I have placed upon your life. Everything that was taken from you, trust, honor, opportunity, I will restore in abundance. Not in the way you expect, but in the way only heaven can. For my grace does not merely repay, it surpasses. But remember, my child, blessing is not the reward of anger, but the fruit of humility. When I lift you up, do not turn back to prove anything. Let my peace be your loudest testimony. When you choose forgiveness, you not only free yourself, but open the way for me to move completely. For darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can overcome. And that light, my child, is your kindness, even in the moment you have every right to retaliate. This is the season when the prophecies over your life will begin to take shape. The words I have spoken through dreams, through prayer, through subtle signs, they will now be confirmed in reality. You will see that no waiting was in vain, no pain was wasted. Every tear you shed, every night you felt forgotten was part of my perfect plan. For nothing in your life has ever been outside of my control. My beloved child, after today you will never be the same again. Something is awakening within your soul, something even you cannot fully describe. It is not a fleeting feeling, but a deep transformation happening at the core of your being. The truth I am planting in your heart today will shatter invisible walls that once bound you, walls built from fear, doubt, and false assumptions about who you are. My child, I am touching the roots, the very place where confusion was born, where old wounds were buried, where your soul longed for light but dared not approach. Now that light is breaking in, not to condemn you, but to set you completely free. The invisible chains that once made you hesitate, that caused you to doubt the voice within, are being broken by my hand. The ties that bound you to what was never meant to be, yours, relationships, expectations, and the roles the world forced upon you, are now being stripped away layer by layer. You no longer need to pretend you're fine, nor wear a smile to hide your wounds. You no longer have to exhaust yourself trying to please others, for I did not call you to live under the weight of burdens, but to walk in freedom. It is this truth that will set you free, and your true freedom will become the doorway through which I will step in to renew all things. My child, let my peace pour over you like cool water in the midst of a desert. Let my wisdom illuminate the dark corners you once feared to face. Let me cover you under the shadow of my wings, where no lie can reach you, where fear loses its power, where all you can hear is the steady rhythm of love's breath. For when you know who I am and know to whom you belong, no storm will be able to shake you. I do not promise that the winds will cease, but I promise that you will stand firm, because I am within the very storm itself. Yet, my beloved, do not take lightly what I am saying to you today. This is not a random moment. It is the tolling of a sacred bell. Everything is moving faster than you realize. Heaven's clock is counting down, and there are only 20 minutes left, not by human time, but by the heartbeat of the Spirit. I am calling you not to frighten you, but to awaken you to the urgency of this divine moment. Do not delay your freedom. Do not wait for tomorrow is not always guaranteed. True freedom begins when you say now. You have waited long enough for others to change, for circumstances to shift, for opportunities to appear. But my child, I tell you this, the one you've been waiting for is you. When you change, everything changes. When you let go, doors open. When you say, "Yes, Lord," the things that once terrified you will shrink beneath your feet. Do not postpone the healing I have already prepared for you, for every second spent in hesitation is another moment you tie yourself to the old. Now you need only to step out to believe, to accept that I am here beside you, holding your hand in the whirlwind of destiny. Can you feel it? Your heart is beating faster, not out of fear, but because your spirit is resonating with my presence. Each heartbeat, is an echo answering heaven's call. I am speaking to you through this urgency not to alarm you, but to awaken you from the long sleep of delay. You have waited long enough. The time has come for you to rise and step into what I have prepared. My beloved one, there is something I want you to know today, something you do not yet see, but it is stirring the heavens. A person you thought had fallen silent, turned away, and forgotten you, has never stopped thinking of you. In the darkness of many nights they have wept for you, pouring their heart into words that were never spoken. Their voice did not reach your ears, but it reached heaven. Before you heard, I had already heard. Before you knew, I had already seen every tear they shed while whispering your name. They have spoken your name in a way that made the angels pause, not because their words were perfect, but because they were achingly true. They have called your name in prayers, fragile yet filled with pain, confessing that they need you more than they dare to admit. They miss you, but do not know how to come near. They watch from afar, afraid to step closer, burdened by shame, guilt, and misunderstandings that no one has yet had the courage to untangle. In their heart, you were never nothing. You are a part of them, still carried quietly, even as they try to convince themselves that it's over. My beloved child, I see what you cannot see. I know what you do not know. There are prayers that have been spoken not with lips, but with a broken heart. There are sighs that I have received as sacred intercession. That person, though they have not spoken, not written, not come, still carries you in their thoughts. They once misunderstood you, misjudged you, believed you walked away out of coldness. Yet I, the one who sees all, know that it was merely the shell of a pain that had not yet been named. I want you to know this, not to lead you back to the past, but to help you see it through the eyes of forgiveness. Some connections are not meant to last forever. They come to teach you how to love as I love, to love even when wounded, to love even when misunderstood. True love does not vanish when unreturned. It transforms into intercession, becoming a quiet light that shines upon the other soul in their darkness. My child, you do not realize that often while you prayed in solitude, they too were praying at that very same moment, in another place with the same ache. I heard both prayers. Yours and theirs met before my throne, melting together in the light of forgiveness. In the unseen realm, a meeting took place not through words nor through eyes, but through mercy. I am not telling you to return to that person, but to allow me to heal what remains. For what is left unforgiven will always bind two souls together. When you release forgiveness, you do not only set them free, you also free yourself. When you whisper, I forgive, I see chains shatter in the invisible world. And when you pray for them, my light covers you both, you in peace and them in repentance. Do not think your prayers have gone unheard. Even when you feel the silence, I am working. I am touching those who once hurt you, stirring their hearts to remember, to reflect, to repent, and to be renewed. One day they will look back and say, if only I had understood you sooner. If only I had not let the distance grow so wide. But I tell you, my child, nothing is wasted in me. Everything you have given in love, I will return to you in abundance, not always through the same person, but through myself, the one who never forgets the seeds you have sown. My beloved, understand this. Their silence is not indifference, but an inner battle. They have wrestled within themselves between pride and longing, between fear and the desire for reconciliation. At times they asked me for a chance to speak to you again, but when that moment came, they stayed silent out of shame. They know you have changed, that you have grown, that you have moved forward, and they fear they are no longer worthy to stand beside you. And I, who see all things, have used that silence to refine you both, to teach you how to love without possessing, how to intercede without expecting, how to walk in peace though your heart has once been torn. For only when you love in this way do you truly carry my nature. Now, my child, I want you to lay down every remaining burden in your heart. Do not let old pain take the space meant for new blessings. Do not let the memory of a person dim the light of the one who loves you unconditionally. Let me replace regret with peace, sorrow with compassion, and unanswered questions with the certainty that everything has purpose in me. For I tell you truly, no tear shed for genuine love is ever wasted. No prayer, even one whispered in despair, fails to reach heaven. Everything you have endured is being woven into a greater story, the story of forgiveness, of healing, and of restoration. My beloved child, lift your eyes. Believe that I am still moving within the unseen realm, rearranging all things so that in the end both you and they will be free. You do not need to return to where you once were, but walk forward with a heart that has been released. For that person, the one you thought had remained silent, has truly been stirred by me. And in their prayers your name has been lifted before heaven as a confession, as a cry for mercy, as an acknowledgement that you were once the gift they failed to cherish. My beloved, the journey you are on is not a random path. It has been woven by my own hand. Every turn, every pause, every encounter, and even the tears you thought were meaningless. Each of these threads forms part of a greater design, one that surpasses your understanding in this moment. I saw the place where you would arrive long before you took your first step, and everything that has happened has only been guiding you closer to the divine appointment I prepared for you. The one you believed to be only a closed chapter of your past still holds a quiet place in your story, not as an obstacle but as a mirror through which you can see yourself. Through them, you have learned patience. Through pain, you have learned to love without possession. Through silence, you have learned the language of faith. My child, sometimes I do not allow others to return, not because I wish for you to be alone, but because I want you to recognize that my presence is always enough. When you know that I am the source of love itself, you will no longer depend on anyone else to feel loved. You have walked through dark seasons where it seemed I was silent, yet in truth I was closer than ever. When you collapsed, thinking you had no strength left, I upheld you with unseen grace. When you felt abandoned, I was right beside you, quietly wiping your tears. When you wanted to give up, I whispered, "You are not finished yet." For I have seen something precious within you, a spark, a faith, a steadfast heart that refused to die even in the fiercest storm. You thought you were merely surviving, but I tell you this, you were being refined. And in that furnace I have been shaping you into a powerful vessel for my kingdom. Look at yourself now, haven't you changed? You no longer react as before, no longer repay hurt with hurt. You have begun to choose silence when the world shouts prayer, instead of argument, faith, instead of fear. That is the sign of a maturing soul. The old wounds no longer control you. They have become your testimony. One day you will tell this story not with tears, but with gratitude, for through it you found me amid the ashes of your past. My child, I know there are moments when you still wonder, do they ever think of me? And I tell you, yes, they do. They remember even without words. They remember in silence, in moments of weakness, in the nights they wish they could return just to say, "I'm sorry." But I have not yet permitted it, for if they came back before healing was complete, they would only wound you again. I am working in them just as I have worked in you, slowly, delicately, yet surely. When both hearts have been restored, every word that needs to be spoken will be arranged by me, not a moment too soon nor too late. Beloved child, I did not call you to dwell in the past. I called you into wholeness. The past is not meant to be held onto, but to prove that my grace is stronger than any wound. Remember this, you are not defined by who left, but by the one who stayed, and I remain forever. No one can replace me in your life, just as no one can take you out of my hand. Rise up, my child. It is time to step out of the shadows of memories, out of the land of what if, and into the land of now. I have prepared for you a new season, a season of peace, of true joy, of holy connections, rooted not in fear, but in faith and honor. What I am about to do will show you that nothing was lost, only transformed. Thank you for listening to this message. Remember, you are not just a listener, you are chosen to live daily in the presence of God's Word. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the divine messages to come. Amen.